According to General Hospital teasers, Sasha Corbin's week will take a terrible turn when she testifies in the divorce and child custody court between Corinthos and Corinthos. Since she was asked to testify, Sasha has been more than a little anxious about taking part in this courtroom spectacle. After all, only Sasha, Jason Morgan, and Michael Corinthos are aware that Sasha's baby's father is Michael rather than Jason. Michael's fight for sole custody of Wiley and Amelia Corinthos may be greatly impacted by this one fact. Although the odds are currently in Michael's advantage, as supporters are aware, Willow Tate Corinthos' side could win out in the land of Port Charles. The tide might flip if everyone learned that Sasha and Michael had a one-nighter that resulted in a baby. Unquestionably, Sasha is under a great deal of pressure and is anxious about the truth being revealed. For a pregnant woman who is near but not too near her due date, this is not a good feeling. Nina Reeves made the final connection about Sasha's real baby daddy during the week of May 26 to 30th. Something inside her was awakened by a talk with Maxie Jones. Nina discovered after some research that Michael, not Jason, was the biological father of Sasha's child. Nevertheless, Nina wavered between saying anything and not saying anything. This information might, in fact, establish Willow's custody, but it would also guarantee Drew Kane's presence in their lives. However, as the performance came to an end on Friday, May 30th, Rick Lansing overheard Nina's reservations and asked her if she had any additional information to contribute to her daughter's custody hearing. It's likely that Rick will question Nina until she divulges the knowledge, at which time he will use it against her will. A scene of Sasha on the stand while Rick is cross-examining her was featured in the recently released GH Weekly preview. Will he ask her who the father of her child is? In any case, Sasha appears to be about to go into labor because she is heaving while on the stand. Before he finally slams his fist against the table and declares that enough is enough, Michael is shown in the background, looking irritated. Sasha informs Michael at the end of the commercial that the baby is on the way, but it is far too soon. Supporters are aware of the devastating loss Sasha suffered during her first pregnancy. Liam was born prematurely, and although she and Brando Corbin were thrilled to have him in the world, he tragically did not live long. The pair was crushed by this, and Sasha experienced even more grief when Brando died at the hands of the Hook, also known as Heather Weber. June has arrived and Sasha's baby is due in July. The child's prospects of survival if born now appear to be good, but things may still go extremely wrong, and Sasha will start to worry that lightning might strike twice. In any case, she will experience the trauma. Furthermore, the fact that Michael will be by Sasha's side confirms beyond a shadow of a doubt that he is the father of her child. Willow might gloat if she wins, and Michael will be torn about what this might mean for his other kids. Hopefully, though, Michael's family and support network will come together to help him and Sasha through this trying time. According to General Hospital spoilers, Sasha should have a happy ending. When it comes to the child, there will probably be hope because the baby will emerge robust and healthy, even though it arrived sooner than expected. Despite the seriousness of the trial, Sasha had been on the stand for about an hour, responding to questions in a composed manner. Everything she said carried weight in the tense courtroom. Sasha stood her ground despite the prosecution's unrelenting tactics, her hands folded neatly on her lap and her voice steady. Months had been spent preparing for this day, practicing her evidence and bracing herself for the inevitable cross-examination. However, she could not have been prepared for what came next. Her fingers tightened around the edge of the witness stand as a piercing agony slashed through her abdomen, so abrupt and severe that she gasped. She briefly believed it was simply nerves, possibly a cramp from prolonged sitting. Her breath caught as the deep, rolling contraction struck again, stronger this time. Her eyes grew wide with insight. There was no worry here. This was not a case of anxiety. It was work. A stern-faced man in his 50s, the judge scowled as Sasha's calm exterior broke. "How are you, Ms. Delaney?" His question reverberated throughout the quiet courtroom. Sasha started to answer, but her voice was stolen by another contraction. Her face pale, she gripped her tummy. Murmurs started to reverberate across the room around her. The jurors looked at each other in confusion. The prosecutor paused, uncertain about whether to ask more questions. Then there was a loud scrape of a chair hitting the floor from the back of the courtroom. Michael. Throughout Sasha's testimony, he had been sitting erect in his chair, his mouth tight, his gaze fixated on her. He stood up as soon as he saw her falter, his heart racing. The trial didn't matter to him. The regulations didn't matter to him. He was just interested in Sasha. "Your Honor," he began in a gruff, urgent voice. "She needs assistance." As the whispers increased in volume, the judge held up a hand to call for order. Before turning back to Sasha, he gave the command, "Bailiff, call an ambulance." "Can you, Ms. Delaney?" Sasha, however, had stopped listening. Another wave of pain rushed over her, blurring her vision. Her fingers became white as she leaned forward and gripped the stand tightly. She had anticipated the baby's arrival, but not to this extent. Not in this place. Not right now. Michael acted without waiting for approval. Ignoring the astonished murmurs and the bailiff's feeble attempt to stop him, he strode ahead. In a matter of seconds, he arrived at the stand, his hands reaching up to support her. "Sasha," he remarked in a stern yet hushed voice. "Observe me." Her breathing was labored as she raised her head. His chest constricted at the terror in her eyes. "It's premature," she muttered. Michael gave a headshake. "Everything will be all right. Simply take a breath." He looked across to the judge. "We must take her to a hospital, Your Honor. Right now." The judge nodded after just a brief pause. "The court adjourns. Get that ambulance here right away, please." As people rushed to assist, chaos broke out. The bailiff talked into his radio in a hurry. A handful of onlookers stood, craned their necks to watch. The defense lawyer and the prosecutor exchanged puzzled glances. This was definitely not how they had anticipated the day to go. With Sasha leaning heavily against him, Michael put his arm around her waist and helped her stand up. "I have you," he whispered. "Please wait." As another contraction struck, she bit her lip and nodded. Her body was requesting her undivided attention, and the pain was increasing in intensity. She hardly noticed the chaos all around her, the judge yelling for order, the bailiff paving the way, the sirens blaring in the distance. With a stretcher between them, paramedics hurried in as the courtroom doors sprang wide. Michael didn't release Sasha's hand, but he moved slightly to allow them to take control. His voice was tight as he informed them that she was in labor. It would be another 2 weeks before the baby was due. The female lead paramedic, who had a serious look on her face, nodded. "We'll look after her." She looked across at Sasha. "Ma'am, do you need us to carry you or are you able to walk?" Sasha inhaled nervously. She said, "I can walk." But when she attempted to move ahead, her legs shook. Michael made no hesitation. Ignoring the pounding in his own heart, he pulled her into his arms before she could object. He told the paramedics, "Let's go," and started to go for the door. As he carried her out of the courtroom, Sasha held on to him, pressing her face into his shoulder. The last thing she saw as the doors closed behind them were the judge, the attorneys, and the jury's shocked expressions, all of them frozen in shock at the sudden turn of events. As Michael hurried past with Sasha in his arms, the hallway outside was a flurry of activity, with police officers controlling traffic, reporters attempting to obtain a statement, and courtroom employees staring. He was led toward the ambulance that was waiting by the paramedics, who kept up with him while yelling commands to one another. As they rushed through the courthouse doors, Sasha felt the chill of the cold air on her face. Now the flashing lights were dazzling, and the sirens were deafening. Michael didn't slow down until they arrived at the ambulance, where he gave her to the emergency personnel who were waiting. He climbed in after her and said, "I'm coming with you." Nobody argued. The ambulance slammed its doors and was on its way to the hospital in a matter of seconds, leaving the courthouse and the trial far behind. As the paramedics worked around her, Sasha lay on the stretcher with Michael's fingers firmly interlaced. Her body was engulfed by the primordial urgency of birthing, and the anguish was unrelenting. Michael, however, remained by her side the entire time, his voice a steadfast bulwark in the storm. He brushed a damp lock of hair off her forehead and said, "You're doing great. Just wait a bit longer." With tiny gasps of air, she clasped his hand. "What about the trial, Michael?" she managed in between contractions. His face was angry as he shook his head. "Ignore the trial. This moment, none of that mattered. You and the child are the only things that matter." And Sasha knew he was correct as the ambulance sped through the streets with sirens blasting. Nothing compared to the life that was about to start, not even the case, the attorneys, or the verdict. The hours that followed were a blur of agony, terror, and debilitating fatigue. Michael lingered close by, his face a mask of barely restrained anxiety, as the hospital staff worked with experienced precision, getting Sasha ready for delivery. Never in his life had he felt so powerless. However, after what seemed like a lifetime, the room was filled with a loud shriek. As the doctor handed up a small, wriggling infant, Sasha fell back against the cushions, tears running down her cheeks. "Congratulations," the physician remarked with a smile. "It is a female." Michael was on the verge of passing out. Before turning to see their daughter for the first time, he bent over Sasha and kissed her sweat-dampened forehead. Her face wrinkled in anger at the sudden brightness of the world. Her tiny fists flailing, she was flawless. His voice was full with emotion as he muttered, "She's beautiful." Sasha extended her hand and touched the infant's cheek. "Yes," she said quietly. "She is." And nothing else mattered at that moment. Not the courtroom mayhem they had left behind, not the trial. Only this, finally their small family together. The others could wait. Willow asks Jason where Michael is bringing Wiley when she receives a call from her babysitter. Drew and Willow flee after she discovers that Jason has arrived and taken Amelia from her house. Sunny, Joss, Nina, and Carly turn up. Joss walks away, and Carly assures Nina she'll see her in court before following him out. Nina grabs Sunny and begs him to hear her out. Nina cannot believe Jason stole Amelia from her house, and she had hoped Michael's return would calm things down. She asks Sunny if he can't convince Michael that a compromise is best. Sunny reminds her that no one wants a war, but until Willow gets away from Drew, this is what will happen. He wants her to show Willow that Drew is not a decent guy. He has damaged her life, ruined her marriage, and now she is about to lose her children. He hopes Drew is worth it and walks away. Reunited, Michael returns to Carly's, where Sasha and Amelia are on the sofa. Michael hugs both of his children, as he has missed them so much. He puts Wiley to bed and expresses how much he loves and misses him. After Amelia is also killed, Michael returns to Sasha and considers why she does not want to raise her child as a Quartermain or Corinthos. Michael thanks her for assisting him tonight. He expresses gratitude for sending the sonograms, and assures her that he would not interfere with the baby's life, unless she changes her mind. Willow and Drew go to the PCPD and inform Mac that Jason Morgan kidnapped Amelia. Tracy learns the truth. Emma arrives at the Quartermain home and finds Gio prepared to flee, saying, "I can't stay here." Emma assures him she's going with him. Tracy storms in before they can leave, yelling about Drew framing her and arresting her. She then inquires as to what they are doing here, why they are not attending the ball, and what is wrong. Gio recalls what happened earlier that evening, and Tracy urges them to speak. Gio informs Tracy that, considering how she loves to remind him that he is not a Quartermain, the joke is on her, because he is related. Tracy is perplexed, so Gio confesses that Brooke Lynn is his mother and Dante is his father. Surprise! It's a boy. Tracy learns it was him all along. "You are my great-grandson." Gio grabs Emma's hand and attempts to leave, but Tracy urges him not to go any farther. They enter the living room, and Tracy inquires about what occurred and why he believes this. Gio claims he overheard Lois say it and wants to leave before anybody else returns home. Tracy realizes how startling and unpleasant this is, but he can't just claim he's family and walk out the door. He asks, "Why not?" She says it's because he's her family. Tracy gives him a photo of Edward and Lila, tells him who they are, and explains that everything in this house is his, and everyone who lives here is linked to him. He screams as she warns him not to push them away. Gio claims it is not her fault, but he had a family, including a mother he adored and who died. He has now discovered that everything was a lie, and that his family is made up of liars. So he's not ready to join the Q bandwagon since it's a big lie. Brooke Lynn and Dante arrive just as Gio is about to depart. Cody and Lulu realize their mistakes too late. Lulu gets home, and Cody waits for her on the porch with beers. They drink together, and she inquires about Dante's health. Cody expresses anger, confusion, and amazement. He told Dante that Brooke Lynn left camp that summer pregnant, and Gio is his son. He claims her name did not come up, but Lulu insists she will not hide her role. Cody is not sure they made the correct decision. The General Hospital recap for Thursday, May 29th, shows that Willow Corinthos received Michael Corinthos' breakup ultimatum, while Drew Kane stole Lila Quartermain's ring. Let's talk about how Thursday's GH excitement played out. Dante Falconeri arrived at Lulu Spencer's apartment to confront her about her investigation into his biological kid, assuming she had told Giovanni Gio Palmieri the truth. Lulu said that Gio had most likely overheard her argument with Lois Cerullo, and Dante grumbled about Lulu exacerbating the situation. Dante thought Lulu should have told him he had another child, especially since she suspected it was Gio. Lulu had blown up lives and damaged Dante's chances of reuniting with his son. Dante suspected that Lulu's petty rivalry with Brooke Lynn had motivated everything, but Lulu denied it and assured Dante that a romantic reunion was not her motivation either. In fact, Lulu didn't want Dante back and suggested they stick to co-parenting. Lulu didn't even require them to be friends, so Dante understood. Dante made it obvious that he would be the one to inform Rocco Falconeri about his sibling. After Dante urged Lulu to keep away from Gio, he rushed off, leaving Lulu to mourn alone. Brooke Lynn Quartermain apologized to Ned Quartermain for not informing him about the baby, but he understood and promised her that Gio would ultimately come around. Olivia Quartermain also spoke with Brooke Lynn, assuring her that she understood what it was like to be young, pregnant, and afraid. Tracy Quartermain spoke with Olivia and finally, Ned about the Gio problem. Tracy said that she recently discovered Brooke Lynn had a kid, but she had no idea it was Gio until tonight. Gio yelled at Emma Scorpio Drake on the footbridge because he didn't need a babysitter, but he eventually calmed down and understood he should be grateful for her help. Emma refused to leave Gio alone and wanted to accompany him wherever he went, so they made arrangements to get away from all of his family problems. Jason Morgan thanked Sasha Corbin for accompanying him to pick up Amelia Corinthos, and promised her that he would still be there for her. Michael's reappearance would not affect anything. Sasha felt a little hypocritical for assisting Michael in removing the children from Willow, when she had no intention of allowing him to raise their own child. Cody then came, shocking Sasha with news of the Gio turmoil. Cody felt awful about his role and how it all happened, but Sasha thought he was being too hard on himself. Sasha did, however, indicate that it was a useful lesson in respecting parents' decisions in tricky situations like this one. Willow pressed Michael at Carly Spencer's house to let her say goodnight to the kids, but he refused, believing they no longer belonged with their mother. Michael indicated that he would pursue full custody of the children, but Willow may still visit them if she ended her connection with Drew. Michael was only willing to bargain if Willow left Drew's residence and cut off all contact with him. Willow thought Michael was being cruel about her happiness, but he held firm on doing what was best for Amelia and Wiley Corinthos. Michael believed Willow had to choose between Drew and her children. Willow was very upset as Michael slammed the door in her face. Michael reconnected with Jason and provided updates on his conversation with Willow. Jason wondered if there was any chance for compromise, but Michael vowed that the custody battle would proceed as long as Willow was with Drew. There was also some discussion regarding Sasha being called to testify, and the paternity secret that was kept hidden. In an ideal world, Michael acknowledged that he would like to be the father of Sasha's child. Willow informed Drew in the car about Michael's refusal to allow her see the children, admitting that if Michael had his way, she might never see them again. Willow pointed out that Michael was only prepared to let her visit Wiley and Amelia if she ended things with Drew. Although Willow seemed tempted to accept Michael's ultimatum, Drew maintained she couldn't trust Michael to keep his part of the bargain. Willow agreed with Drew, stating that Michael had turned vicious and was no longer the man she knew. Willow intended to return her wedding band and engagement ring to Michael in the morning once she had removed them. Drew requested that they save Lila's ring and give it to Amelia eventually. Willow remained concerned about the custody battle, but Drew provided plenty reassurance. Drew stated that Michael wasn't completely clean, so they just needed to find out what he was hiding and use it against him. According to General Hospital spoilers, the custody situation is likely to worsen, so stay tuned. Or even realized he was my son. When Ma proposed Camilla, I was too selfish to say no, Lois acknowledged. I was terrified to send your kid out into the world. This way I could check on him and make sure he was okay. Brooke Lynn then made the ultimate point. Gio was not fine when Camilla died. I was an adult when that occurred. Why didn't you tell me then? Brooklyn inquired. Lois stated that she didn't want to add to Joe's confusion, and she also wanted Brooklyn to be free. If Brooklyn had known about Gio, she might not have met Chase. But Gio was my son, and your decisions deprived me of the opportunity to make my own choices for him. And now that he's an adult, I'll never get that chance again, Brooklyn cried. My kid refuses to talk to me. I can't help him with his identity dilemma because he doesn't trust me. You destroyed everything he ever believed about family, and he now has no one. Gio will never talk to me again, and I do not want to talk to you again. Just then, Gloria arrived from nowhere to chastise Brooklyn. Hey, don't you ever talk to your mother like that, Gloria said. You want to have it out with someone, young lady, you have it out with me. Carly entered Curtis' office and explained Willow and Drew's legal strategy, which involved accusing a man in a burn clinic of abandoning his children. It would be very helpful if Aurora Media could remind the people that Drew Kane is a con artist, that he's not a man who uses his position in Congress to help people, that he uses it to get revenge and settle scores, Carly said. Curtis stated Carly didn't have to convince him Drew was terrible, but he couldn't help himself. I may oversee Aurora Media, but Michael is the largest shareholder. If we launch a smear campaign against Drew, he may end up appearing as the victim. I want to take Drew down as much as you do, but this ain't the way, Curtis noted. Don't worry. I'm working on something else, he explained. After Carly had left, Portia came in to talk, but Curtis was in a bad mood. He informed her that he couldn't help Carly because of what she had done, and Portia understood his aggravation. That's why I tried to stop Drew myself, but I failed, Portia remarked, startling Curtis. Portia then explained what she and Nina did. I know it was crazy to hire a sex worker to drug Drew, but Nina and I really thought it was going to work, Portia said, hoping Curtis would understand. Curtis just took it all in before suddenly realizing Drew framed Tracy. I've got an idea to neutralize Drew. We need to do something Drew cannot accomplish. We have to find Jacinda, Curtis added. In Carly's living room, Michael asked Sasha how she was feeling when the baby kicked, and she put her palm to her tummy, allowing Michael to feel his child for the first time. Michael then requested that Sasha stay with Wiley and Amelia while he was in court. Michael was concerned that Rick was aware that he was Sasha's baby daddy, but Sasha didn't understand how it was possible. During my deposition yesterday, Rick's questions were pretty plain. Sasha informed Michael that he only wanted to hear about Willow, and had no baby-related queries. Diane reminded her about seeing Drew and Willow kiss on the 4th of July last summer, and Sasha realized that if she had told Michael about the kiss when it happened, she could have prevented everything. Later, as Michael was playing with his children, Wiley informed him that Uncle Drew had warned him that Daddy would not be returning for a long time. Sasha prepared the kids for a pool, giving Carly and Michael some alone time. Michael disagreed. Drew found his way into the existing cracks in our relationship. If we were really as strong as I thought we were, there was no way he could have come between us, Michael acknowledged. I was so desperate to make her happy, I don't think I ever saw her for who she truly was, he continued. Sasha agreed. Nina summoned Ava to her office and informed her of what she had uncovered at the Brown Dog. I just got some new information that could guarantee my daughter getting full custody of her children, but I don't want to use it, Nina explained. Wait, that means that Michael and Sasha slept together, which means that Michael is probably the father of Michael's baby and not Jason, Ava stated with a laugh. This means that Michael has been hiding a pregnant mistress, which might be enough to give Willow custody. However, Nina revealed that she loved Sasha, and to expose that Michael is the father of her baby would be a big betrayal, and I don't want to hurt Sasha that way, Nina said. I have seen firsthand how much being pregnant again means to Sasha. Ava didn't think it was fair. After all, Sasha had slept with a married man, so Willow shouldn't have to bear the brunt of the criticism. Drew is to blame here. He has transformed Willow's life into a circus. That is another reason why I don't want to give Rick this ammunition, Nina mourned. Because if Willow gets full custody of her children, she'll never leave Drew. If Willow's relationship with Drew costs her children, eventually she is going to leave this man, so maybe it's just better off in the long run if she doesn't get full custody, Nina told me. Ava pointed out that Nina was in a no-win situation. After all, if Willow discovered Nina knew Michael was the father of Sasha's baby and did nothing, she would be furious. As your friend, the only advice I can give you is to just choose the consequences you can best live with, Ava said. Rick arrived as Ava was leaving, and when Rick and Nina had a few minutes to discuss the hearing, Elizabeth was thrilled when Rick brought her some treats from Perks. They had some small talk about the nurses' ball, or what they watched of it on TV since neither of them was actually there. Laura stopped them when she strolled in without knocking, and she was astonished to see Rick. After a few awkward moments, Rick offered to get Laura some tea. While Rick was in the kitchen, Liz informed Laura that Rick had stopped by with breakfast. I wouldn't be surprised if Rick decided to stop by with dragonberry juice every time Lucky stepped out of the house, Laura whispered. The two women laughed heartily. After Rick left, Liz assured Laura that she and Rick would always be friends, but she had set some clear boundaries. Laura pointed out that Lucky saw Rick as a potential competition, and when Lucky returned home, he reminded Liz that he had not told her everything about the vehicle accident. Alexis met with Lucky and Christina in her office and informed them that the discussion was under attorney-client confidentiality. Please start by telling me everything that happened the night Christina tried to kill Ava, Alexis stated. Christina guided her mother through the day and what had caused her to snap, telling her that she wasn't thinking properly. Alexis was shocked to hear Christina was at the scene and hoped no one had seen her. The cops did know I was there. I told Dante I saw Rick's crashed car, Christina confessed meekly to an irritated Alexis. After Lucky left, Christina asked Alexis if there was any way out of this, and Alexis suddenly had an idea. She was going to get Ava and Rick to turn on each other. When Christina was gone, Laura stopped in to tell Alexis she noticed money missing from Ace's trust fund. The struggle for the Corinthos children is about to begin, and Carly Spencer stopped by Curtis Asford's office. She informs him that she has come to request that he assist Michael Corinthos in obtaining custody of his children. Curtis understands how evil Drew Kane is, and Carly informs him that he and Willow Corinthos intend to claim that Michael abandoned his children for months. A fact, he was healing from third-degree burns in a German clinic, not purposely neglecting his children. Carly urges Curtis to use Aurora's media to expose Drew as the con artist he truly is. Curtis wishes to do so, but his hands are bound because Drew is blackmailing his wife, Portia Robinson. Carly eventually leaves and Portia arrives just in time to tell him that she is the one who drugged Drew with ketamine and hired Jacinda, the sex worker, to help arrange what should have been a career-ending scenario. Tracy Quartermain was arrested because Drew framed her by dumping the narcotic in her car. Curtis believes that if they can find Jacinda, they may still be able to bury Drew. Sasha informs Michael that she has been called as a witness in his custody case. Sasha Corbin and Michael enjoy a moment when she feels their baby kick, and she asks if he wants to feel it as well. Michael lights up when they talk about the child that Sasha claims to want to raise alone. He tells her that he has custody court and asks Sasha if she can watch Wiley and Amelia while he is gone. She explains that she can't because Rick Lansing has called her as a witness. They discuss the possibility of being caught, but they both believe that everyone believes Jason Morgan is the father of Sasha's baby. Sasha then takes the kids while Michael talks. Gio realizes he needs to return home and face everyone. Emma Drake wakes up alone in a lodge and panics when she finds Gio Palmieri is missing. He then enters in the door with breakfast for both of them, telling her that he would never abandon her because she is the only person he trusts right now. Joe's phone is full of missed calls and texts from people he perceives to be his phony family. Gio now assumes Sonny Corinthos knew the truth, and he is attempting to piece together his feelings about everyone else.